Hi, Pottery pals, and everybody from YouTube. Honestly, laser guys and 3D printing guys are actually starting to watch the channel, so I totally appreciate that. I'd like for you to think about subscribing. Please hit your bell notification icon. You'll know when I do something. I'm going to attempt massively to do one every week, rather. So. We're going to get back into ceramics this week, but not just ceramics. We're going to add laser to the ceramics. And what do you mean? Why would you use lasers in ceramics? Well, there's a tile technique, and it's how to put an image on a tile. Any image you want, photographs, line art, whatever. Sky's the limit. It's usually black and white. How do you do that? Why would you want to do that? Well, there was a gentleman named Nicky Norton. Who is Nicky Norton? It's called the Norton White Tile technique because he helped define it. If you want to look him up, he's on Facebook, Den of Lasers. It's a group. The technique is you basically take a tile and you put an image on it. Big deal, right? What is it, paint? No, it's not paint. I'm going to do this left-handed because it looks better. Yes, it's a real screwdriver. Get the kitty. Yeah, baby. There. I always have trouble with the, okay. It's, that was part of the clay that was on the screwdriver. There, see? Kitty's fine. That's an indelible image on the tile. It's burnt into the actual glaze of the tile. That's incredible. I've actually had these out in the sun. It's going to fall somewhere bad. I've actually had these out in the sun on gravestones. Pictures of whoever, is in the grave, obviously. And they've been in the sun, direct sun, almost 4 years now, and they still look like this. So it does not really fade, not that I can discern, because this is titanium. And how do you get titanium burnt into the glaze of a tile? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Like I was saying, you can get all sorts of different bathroom tiles. This is, I believe, Jeffrey Court bathroom tile. You can get these from Home Depot, I believe, and they have a really nice hexagonal pattern on the back of them. That's good if you're just going to use it as a single tile to display to somebody, or if they're going to use it for a trivet, or put a couple of feet on it or something. Now, this is an extremely cheap tile. You can get these for next to nothing. The bad thing about these is they look like a bathroom tile. They have these little knobs on them so that they space properly when you put them together, so you can put a grout line in there. If that doesn't bother you, you can get these for 15 cents a piece. But the backs of them, albeit American made, leave much to be desired. Yeah, so they're you might want to put a little finishing. Now you could grind these off, but I mean it's just extra work that you have to do, because those can be a little off-putting. But yeah, I believe these are about 30 cents a piece. I think it was like $35 for a box of 100 of these Jeffrey Quartz, if you can find them. Good luck. These are everywhere. Also, I noticed that this particular glaze that is on these American-made tiles works better. It works better for our technique. Okay, there's 3 different ways to get the titanium onto your tiles. The first way is the way that I used to do it, and that's to use Rust-Oleum 2 times white. Now there's a lot of different whites, and they have different amounts of titanium in it. There's a chart online that you can find it. In fact, I'll put it in the descriptions down below, and you can download that chart. But this, I believe, is satin, and there's one called beige. It's got a weird name, some sort of beige. It's supposed to have the most amount of titanium. This is, well, it's for lack of better, it's acrylic, I think. Yeah. And when you spray it, after you etch the tile, you have to pull the paint off of the tile. The stuff that didn't get burnt, right? That requires acetone or like a mineral spirits or something really harsh to get this stuff off. It's very nasty, and yeah, I got away from that because I like something different. This is same, you know, Rust-Oleum, but this is marking spray. Now marking spray is, you know, we're going to spray the football field, you know, marks or whatever, or, you know, power line indicators and stuff, and it washes off with water. It works, and this is what I use exclusively. The third way is to simply use, and I have plenty of this because I'm a ceramic artist, titanium dioxide. It's this powder. You mix it up in a water solution that's kind of thick, and you paint it on with one of those little foam brushes, and you have to be real even about it, and it really washes off with water. I haven't had much luck with that because I can't get the exposure, I can't get the layers down properly enough on it. So yeah, this stuff's, it goes really far, and it's water based, and you can wash it off with soap and water, and I haven't noticed any problem with it. That's what Mr. Knight and Kitty was done with. So now we just have to let it dry for a while. It's very chalky, and it will scrape off with your fingers quite easily. So you need to at least let it dry for 15 to 20 minutes before you try to pick them up. Alright, what I do is I load my images into LightBurn. Here is LightBurn. LightBurn comes up, and I just so happen to have one of them on hand. This is a drawing that my wife did. She's an illustrator, as if you couldn't tell. Now, this image you will have to crop down in another piece of software. Hopefully you know what you're doing when it comes to image manipulation. If not, you can actually crop them down in here. This one has got it set for 109 millimeters by roughly 110 millimeters. It's basically a square. Now, if we don't want to see that, here's millimeters. You can click on that. Oh, look, it's basically a little bit bigger than 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. That's good because our tile is 4 1/4, so we want it to overlap just a bit. Now, when the image comes straight across, this is basically a line art image. You can take a photograph, black and white photograph, you can take a color photograph, and it'll just do it for you, and put it in the same situation. You get basically image when it comes in. Now, I've got speed and power set, but we'll get into those in a minute. Once it's selected, you can double click on your cut layers over here, and get this little fly out. I'll cover myself. Get this little fly out, and you'll see that we are actually setting at 318 dots per inch, which is great for this because it's almost line art. And you'll see that there's an image mode down here. Now, you'll see threshold, and you'll see ordered, Atkinson, blah, blah, blah. I always use Jarvis. Don't ask me why. You can use Stucky. These are half-toning filters. They're dithering filters. They'll take the line art and they will actually pointillize it so that the laser has an easier time with it. There's also another way to do that, which I'll show you too, really quick. And I've got my speed set. Now this is a 40-watt xtool laser, diode laser. And so I have found that setting to be speed about 52 millimeters a second and the maximum power of 19%. Now that's not a lot of power. It doesn't take a lot of power to burn that titanium into the actual glaze of the ceramic clay body, or the tile rather. So that is basically all there is to it. I've got that set, like I said, 52 to 19, and what we're going to do is place it on the laser, and we're going to go ahead and frame it. And what framing does is it takes the laser and it just gives you this perimeter of the image, and basically you'll just move the tile around until it's within that framing area, and then let it go. Let's see if that happens properly here. Okay, I was going to show you another way, really quick, make a long video even longer. This way is even more interesting. It's a site called imag-r.com, imager.com. And it comes up, and they'll give you, I think, 3 free daily uploads, maybe more. It depends. And of course, you can always pay for it. And the easiest way to use this is, it says right here, how to use Imager in 6 easy steps. Well, upload and drag a photo, and then crop your photo, resize your photo, add some text if you want, choose your favorite material. That's the important part, and then download your image. So we're going to go here to upload real quick. It says, what do you want, color or grayscale? Well, let's say I've got a colored photo. It's just a blank old blah, blah, blah. Here, it's an AI photo of a bunch of skulls. Boom. Okay, where'd it go? Okay, now it says I've got 2 free daily uploads remaining. There's the skulls. They downloaded right there. So it's saying right now it's huge. It's dynamic. Here's DPI is 72. And that's, that's the size that's coming through as. So what we want to do is we're going to crop it. We don't need to. I think that's a perfect square. That's kind of our format. Now, if you have a different size tile, make sure you guys aren't stupid. Okay, so we don't need to crop it. We need to resize the photo. Let's resize the photo. It's not letting me do it. Oh, sorry, resize. It's down here. This is these big boxes that tell you how to do it. They don't take you anywhere. This does, down here. Okay, so what do we want? Well, pixels or inches or millimeters. So let's say we want the thing to be in inches, right? And let's say we want it to be 4.25 inches, 100%, 4.25. It automatically defaults to square, but we don't want DPI 720. I found for the Norton White Tile technique, most of the time it works the best if the image is somewhere around anywhere from 300 dots per inch to 500 dots per inch, up to rather. So we're going to say 350. 350. Fixed aspect ratio. Let's say okay. Boom. Now, once you get past that, and I know I'm covering up half of this, but once you get past half of that, you get these extra flyouts here. And when you scroll down, it's saying before, after, one touch, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's really groovy cool. 350, see now it's saying it's 4.25 by 4.25 by 350. If you wanted to, you can zoom in so that you can see what the blazes is happening with it. Now, we keep going. We resized it. We don't want to add any text. We want to go to material now. What kind of material?
Oh, look at that. Norton. Interesting. Do we have a CO2 laser? Do we have a CO2 sketch? It just goes and goes. Hey, grayscale. We can change it to grayscale. Let's say Norton. Okay, Nicky Norton has a lot of different settings on this site. And we're not using black slate. We're not going cork, glass, or leather, or acrylic, but we're not doing a white tile that's painted black. It's a different type of effect, technique, and I forget what it's called actually. It has a name. But we are going to do the Norton White Tile technique. It's actually in here. Say, okay. And what should happen is, we get a black and white image. Now it looks really funky, but if you zoom in, it's not really very funky at all. It takes it and pointillizes it quite perfectly. Now there's a million different settings you can do, but let's just grab that sucker. I want to download a bitmap, a PNG, or a JPEG. That doesn't really matter. Here's a DPI test, an algorithm test. Let's just download the JPEG for it. Boom. And that's our image. And as you can see, not too shabby. As you get in closer, you can see where all these little points are going to be. You're not going to see that once it etches. I mean, it's going to look like a freaking photograph when it comes through. We might etch this one later. We might.
Now, if you want to start getting picky, which, it's all about being picky, it's all about application with this. You can see where I kind of didn't get the spray on this side of the tile quite as much. But if you look at it, it's pretty darn good. Can it be better? Yes, it can be better. But once again, I mean, this is, I don't have my screwdriver, but I have a pipe wrench. Nope, not gonna hurt it. That's in there. That's in the glaze. That is indelible and permanent as permanent can be. It's almost as if it was fired itself. Oh, fantastic. So that's pretty much the Norton White Tile technique. Can you imagine the possibilities and all of the variations that you could, produce, and the purposes behind actual ceramics and the permanency that you could utilize this technique for? It's fairly inexpensive. This is a very cheap tile. In fact, it's ridiculously cheap. These are pennies. Now, yes, you have to buy a fairly advanced laser system, which can, cost you quite a bit of money. But you saw the low power setting that I had this on. It was only 19% power on a 40-watt laser, which would be 75% on like a 10-watt laser or so. You can get a 10-watt laser system from a lot of different companies for about $250 or less, depending. So yeah, if this was your intention, you could make quite a good show on an online platform for sales, Etsy especially, anything, eBay, those things, Shopify. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, so keep making things because it's cool.
Kitty you being? Are you showing the people that you can rub on things and mess up my thermometer and things like that? Yes, you're being a good boy, aren't you? This is being a good boy.